tax yesterday and posted some messed up crap. My mom.
Let me get it.
Alright. So looking at guys, call it. So looking at y'all's homework y'all turned in, I need to stress a few things. Dissolves is physical. When salt dissolves in water, and another word for dissolves, this is related to the solubility.
Okay, so it's a chemical.
Physical. So when salt dissolves in water, that is a physical thing. It stays a salt. Salt dissolving in water is physical change. Because it's still salt.
But it's chemical reacting. No, it's salt.
It doesn't react.
Salt doesn't explode when you put it in water. No.
So salt tastes salty. If you put it in salt water, it still tastes salty.
I have a question. What's the difference between sea salt and regular salt?
And it's just salt from the sea versus.
One more pure is salt from salt water. Okay. Isn't it one more pure?
No.
Well, I can't look it up if I'm hungry again to be another level.
So, for example, this air is mostly nitrogen. The air is 80% nitrogen.
They believe that most of it.
Do you know what is dissolved in it? Oxygen. So roughly, it has some other things in it, but we could say that about 20% of oxygen is dissolved into the nitrogen. Is the oxygen reacting with the nitrogen? No. No. Keep your mask on. You literally.
When you light oxygen's flammable. That's why when you light a match or something, it don't explode.
Yes. So if you're in a house and you have an oxygen tank that is leaking a lot, and it increases the amount of oxygen dissolved in the air, it can actually cause your house to explode. That's why if you have anyone in your house uses an oxygen tank, you shouldn't be smoking or having candles or anything like that inside your house. Another thing is food coloring was one thing someone.
That was chemical. That's chemical.
Guys, cool it.
If you stay on the oxygen bottle too much, it crystallizes your lungs.
Say that again?
No, it's on oxygen in the water tank. I heard it crystallizes your lungs.
It crushes your lungs?
Crystallizes.
Oh, crystallize?
No,
I don't know that too much. Anyway, if you paint wood, is it still wood with paint on it, or did you chemically change the wood?
You chemically no. If you take food color and you dip it in water, can you melt it and get the color up?
Yes.
No, you
Yes.
cannot.
Yes.
No.
Yes. It is physical. That's how they get it. That's so food coloring. They have some pigment dissolved in water. You can evaporate the food coloring to get back the pigment.
Okay.
Yes. That is physical.
But once food coloring evaporates into the water.
So food coloring is water. So food coloring is mostly water with some pigment in it.
And pigment is
something that has color. So it's just colored water is food coloring. Food digesting.
No, because your body.
That is chemical. But painting and food coloring, food coloring is physical. was another thing a lot of people got wrong. How does a tree grow?
Oh,
Well, I get it. Nature.
So where is all the mass? You're saying it right. Where's all the mass come from a tree?
who's strong?
From glucose.
Mm-mm.
Matt. Oh,
The sun. The
Mm-mm.
gravitational pull of the mass comes from.
camera.
So if you have a pot, does anyone have a potted plant?
No.
So if you have a potted plant and it grows, or let me put it this way, when you plant a tree, so let's say we planted a seed in here. After a few years, do you have a giant big hole of missing dirt? No. What a tree does, the tree gets almost all of its mass from the air. Trees literally grow out thin air. It takes CO2. So you might have heard that trees breathe CO2 and produce oxygen. What it does is CO2 goes into the tree. The tree takes the carbon to build itself up and then releases O2. So it's taking CO2 and breaking it into carbon and oxygen.
I have a question. Have you watched Snowball?
No.
You haven't? Okay, with Spaceballs. Something like that. But they have.
Oh, yeah.
They had this problem on Earth, right? Can we do that so we have a big old AC and a big heater and it's cold? It's cold.
Let's do this together.
No, because that won't ever work.
Bro, have you ever seen like concrete root system?
No,
They're
he-
gigantic, dude. They go like 100 feet in bro.
If you had known around the Earth and you have a big high powered AC, you don't know how good our technology has to be just to do that. And then hold on, looking up. And then you have a heater next to it. When you get too cold, you push the heater, right? And then when it's too hot, you put on the AC. Right? But that's not a big old bottle of vacuum sucking the air out of it.
All right. Is blue color a physical property or chemical property?
Physical.
It's physical. Density. Is density physical or chemical?
Physical.
Wait, did we put a check mark?
Yeah.
Oh, good, I'm telling you.
Flammability. Flammability is chemical. Dissolves in water. Physical. I can't emphasize that enough.
Mold.
Boils at 100 degrees. This is physical.
Dude, you're smarter at physics than you are chemistry.
Scratches glass.
Physics is math, and my math skills.
Sour taste.
Chemical. Physical.
This is the one where the sour indicates that it's acidic and chemical. But we're going to say that if you can use your 5 senses to observe it, we'll put physical.
So it's both.
It's technically both. I'll put dot here too.
I'll put both.
Technically. But if you can use your 5 senses to observe it, we'll put rusting. Chemical. Exploding fireworks. Melting point. Reacts with water or H2O to form gas. Reacts with something to produce H2O. Hardness. Boiling point. Luster. Odor. We'll say that odor and smell is one of your 5 senses, so we'll put physical. But maybe. But I'm going to say that taste and smell, to make it very simple, taste, smell, touch, all of these things, we'll just say physical. Again, I don't have odor and taste on the test because it's, some people would argue it's chemical. But if you can smell it or taste it,
I argue with something that I think it is.
So, silver tarnishes when it comes in contact with hydrogen sulfide in the air. A banana is yellow. A sheet of copper can be pounded into a bowl. What is this called? The fact that you can pound or hammer something into the shape of a bowl. Malleability.
I was about to say that.
Which, how do you spell that?
I can't spell none. I get my names and stuff. Like, how many
That is too obvious. This is technically malleability. Barium melts at 725 degrees Celsius. Gasoline is flammable. A diamond is the hardest substance. Helium does not react with any other element. Chemical. It's talking about reactions.
Reason why I don't have to have it's like 2 in the middle and then 8 around it, and then the highest react to is the atoms or whatever. Like if you have 2 atoms, the thing is around which one put okay, so you have 2 things in the middle, right? Of an atom thing. The nucleus and then
So the nucleus has 2 protons and 2 neutrons, and then there are
around it or something.
and there's 2 electrons around it. But every other element in the noble gases have 8.
Yeah. We change it now.
But look at the innermost one. The innermost circle has 2. While the outermost one can only have up to 8.
You guys talking about the atom.
But for helium, the outermost is only the inner one. You'd learn it in chemistry if you take it.
Oh, we learned that if like the 2 will act the 6.
So a bar of lead is more easily bent than is a bar of aluminum the same size. So this is physical. Bent might be. Let's see. I'm about to go over definitions, but this would be malleability too. But I think it's closer to ductility. Potassium metal is kept submerged in oil to prevent contact with oxygen or water.
That's physical. I don't understand.
This is saying that you're keeping potassium away from oxygen or water because it'll react with it. This is referring to the fact that it reacts with oxygen and water. So if you have some potassium, you can't leave it in air. You have to keep it away from oxygen.
I thought potassium is moving.
So potassium likes to bond with things. It can bond by other things. But if you have pure potassium metal, it'll catch on fire the moment it touches water.
No.
Yes, because it rips the oxygen off the water. It likes to react with oxygen very well. If you have it out in the air, it'll eventually start corroding very quickly. Keep your mask. Cody, keep your mask on. An apple will turn brown if left in oxygen. This is chemical. It's rotting or ripening. It's changing colors. So changing colors is usually an indication of chemical. Diamond dust can be used to cut or grind most other metals or materials. It's physical. It's talking about its hardness. Acid in tomato sauce can corrode aluminum foil. Chemical is an acid. Rocks containing carbonates can be identified because they fizz when hydrochloric acid is applied.
Is that chemical?
Yes. Producing bubbles. A piece of charcoal, which is mostly the substance carbon, glows red, gives off heat, and becomes a gray ash.
If it's physical. But no, it's chemical.
It starts as charcoal and becomes ash. This is chemical.
So that's freaking wood.
Yeah, that's chemical.
How did it become ash, Michael? It's on fire, right? Yeah. Fire is a chemical factor.
Check at it.
Get good teeth. We have to get bathroom, right?
I'm about to go over definitions for some things.
No, I'm not got no food. What are you doing, man? I'm never gonna be there for you. Am I right, Cody? Yeah, I'm a little bit of talk. No, you hold up. You hold up.
Lord, brother,
It over my head and keep my collar. Yeah, and he did this comedy before. He just said, "Hey, good." No. So, yeah, but I'm older.
By 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot of minutes.
That ain't a lot of minutes.
This big man, I'll get one.
What can easily be reversed? What type of change?
Metal, like silver.
Physical or chemical? Which can easily be reversed?
Physical.
Depends on what kind of technology you have. Hey, this one,
I heard someone cook a chicken by just slapping.
Yeah, it's nice. So when a physical change occurs, what happens to the properties of the substance?
It changes.
It does?
No, sir.
It doesn't?
I don't know. Maybe. It depends.
So when a physical change occurs, what happens to the properties of it? When you bend aluminum rod, what happens to the properties of aluminum?
It doesn't change.
So physical change doesn't change.
It's a physical change.
So I think we're going to have a test tomorrow.
About what?
Study the PowerPoints in your notes. Know the evidences for chemical and physical changes.
Do a stapler.
Should be over there.
I just know my phone. I'm sorry to take those too much. Not so much.
So what are some examples of chemical changes? What are some signs that chemical changes occurred? A change in what?
Ash.
Changing color, changing odor, light being produced, heat being produced.
Changing, rust.
That's a changing color?
So light bulbs are chemicals? No, it's chicken. It's just saying, just as light.
It is chemical
So
to some degree.
that's
Yeah, some. Did you know there's some light bulbs that produce bad gas? Some. No, some.
What about physical changes? What are signs that a physical change has occurred? So change in shape, change in size, changing a phase, so going from a solid to a liquid.
There you go.
If you mix two chemicals together and it starts boiling, that means it's producing heat, so that's more than likely it's a chemical reaction.
I have a question. Are you ever going to the lab this year?
Sure. Eventually. I do have a few experiments more for chemistry.
We need to get potassium and try to become a good team in one. Wait, can we do that?
What was up?
Yeah. Potassium and then set the water on fire.
No. That's explosive.
yeah.
What does luster mean?
It's bright. It's shiny.
Luster means shiny. Or it's the shininess. What does precipitate mean?
Ability to evaporate. Oh, precipitate rain.
No, yeah, that's like rain.
A solid that forms
Yes.
when two liquids are mixed together.
No.
What about clarity?
Clarity, that is physical.
But what does it mean? What does it mean?
How
I don't know these.
good.
I've never heard of that.
It's
I can see.
the quality of being transparent. This is like we usually use the word clarity in physics and chemistry, like for diamonds and crystals. So if you have a diamond with a high clarity, it means it doesn't have any impurities. It's very clear. Versus a diamond that's all cloudy.
So if a diamond's cloudy, it means it's pure.
If it's cloudy, it means it's not pure.
So cloudy with iron.
Ductility.
Oh, that's how
Ability.
Are ductile. Keep your mask on. This is the ability to stretch.
Oh, some skin stuff.
This is no, this is more in reference to
Rubber.
to metal. For example, if you were to pull, so how do you think copper wire is made?
They smack it down.
Nope. They take it and they push it through a hole and draw it.
No.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Copper wire is stretched.
Yeah.
I thought it was flat and then like flattened and then flat.
Nope. So
And then they put shit on it.
and then so there's two properties we like to think of: the tensile strength, or the pulling factor, or the compressive strength, which would be malleability.
Is it what I'm talking about?
Malleability is ability to be compressed or flattened. So stretch, so drawn into a wire. You can think of it as silly putty, pulling, and stuff like that. It's ability to be compressed or hammered. Those are the only what is combustibility?
It's fire.
What specifically does it mean? What's the definition?
Two things reacting to each other.
Reacts with oxygen. Reacts with oxygen. What is hardness? How resistant something is to being scratched.
So we're not going.
So diamond really can't be scratched by anything.
But so hardness. So I'll scan it with that hard to the scratch.
What is that?
I'll scan.
Skin, you can scratch skin very well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Would it be weak?
So it's not very hard. I'd describe skin as being soft.
I'm just thinking. So they were all calluses.
Dried up skin and build up. Luster could also refer to being dull too. If you don't have much luster, that means you're dull. And clarity could be a quality of being opaque versus transparent. Physical change is used to describe the appearance. The physical appearance of something. While chemical change is used my bad. Physical properties is used to describe appearance. Chemical properties are used to describe reactivity.
Would it be a little plasma?
What is up?
Would it be a little plasma?
I can't hear you or understand you.
Just be a little plasma.
Yeah.
I can tell you. Yep.
A physical change is when the substance remains the same after changing. Chemically. Or when the identity of the substance remains the same. Changing state or form. I might have the test on Monday. I might need to review more. I'm trying to debate.
I mean, on Monday, but like, once you check on Friday, like, it was nothing. I think